In this video, I'm going to show you how to make dependent drop-down lists in Excel. With all these new Excel functions, it's actually quite easy. So I'm going to show you how to make a dependent drop-down list, but then I will also show you how to make multiple level dependent drop-down lists, which means that there are 2 or 3 drop-down lists which are dependent on each other. So let's see how it's done. Let me quickly first show you what I'm trying to create here, and then I'll show you the detailed steps of doing it. So here I have this data, and I want to create a drop down that shows me the categories from here. And then once I've chosen a category, then the subcategory should automatically update based on the category I've chosen. So here if I change it to, let's say, sports, then this subcategory should automatically update. Similarly, I'm going to show you how to create multiple level dependent drop down lists. So here again I have a little more detailed data set, and here if I choose a category, let's say furniture, then the subcategory should automatically update based on the category selection, and then the product should automatically update based on the subcategory selection. So you can see here this is all dynamic. If I change this to, let's say, storage, then these options would automatically update. And then I also want the price, which can easily be done using a simple XLOOKUP formula. So now let me show you how to create this. So here is my data set, and I want to create a dependent drop-down list where my category is going to be one of these 3 options. And then when I make a selection, the subcategory options should automatically update. So if I choose electronics, it should show me these options. If I choose sports, it should show me these options. Now creating the category drop-down list is fairly easy. I would select these cells, then go to the data tab in the ribbon, and here within data tools, I'm going to click on this data validation icon. And when I do that, it opens this data validation dialog box. You can also use a keyboard shortcut Alt A V V. So press the Alt key, then the A key, then the V key, and the V key again. And then it will also open this data validation dialog box. So I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut from now on because that is faster. Now here I'm going to select the list option, and here in source, I'm going to select these 3 cells that I want in the drop down, and that's it. This is fairly easy. Now I have my drop down and it shows me these 3 options. Now let's say I've selected furniture. I want only the furniture options should be visible here. So to do that, I'm going to use a formula. So let me construct the formula here, and that is going to be an XLOOKUP formula where this is my lookup value, and then this is my lookup array. And what this formula is going to do is it is going to find the position of furniture in this array, and then it is going to return all the values of that position column. So in this case, if the position is 2, then it is going to return all the values in the second column. So now when I hit enter here, you can see it gives me all these options. And if I come here and I change it and I make it, let's say, sports, then it gives me these options. Now this is fine, but the problem here is that it is giving me 0 in the 2 cells where there are no options. Now you can use this to create a subcategory drop-down list here, and it would work. The only thing is the cells where it is showing you 0 are going to show up as blank in the dependent drop-down. So let me first create it and show it to you, because in most cases this is actually fine and you can just use this formula to create the dependent drop-down. So let's copy this formula. And it's a good idea to make these absolute references. So just select this and press F4 and select this and press F4, or you can manually add the $sign. So I can select this formula, come here, then Alt AVV, then go to list, and here I'm going to put this formula and click OK. And you can see here I've selected sports here, and in this case it shows me the options for sports, these 3 options, and then a blank. Now there could be multiple cells with 0. It is only going to show you one blank row here in the dropdown. So to be honest, this is not so bad, and in most cases this is actually fine. So you can just work with this, and this works perfectly fine. But in case you still do not want this blank to show up, you only want the options, then that can also be done. But I will have to then modify the formula in such a way that it doesn't give me everything. It only gives me the cells that have the option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the take function in Excel. This is a new function, and it allows me to take specific cells. So I can specify I want the top 3 cells or top 5 cells based on a number, and that number is going to be how many cells have a text value. So that I can get using the count if function, and here I would use this range. Now it converts this into E9 hash because E9 has a dynamic array formula and it spills. So in this case, it's telling me that it is taking the entire result of the formula that is there in E9. So it takes the entire thing, it automatically makes it a hash. Then my criteria here is going to be question mark followed by an asterisk, which means that there should be at least one text character in the cell. And now when I hit enter, it gives me 3 here. If I change this from sports to, let's say, furniture, it makes it 4. So this is working. So let me complete this formula. So instead of E9, let me put the XLOOKUP part here. And let's copy this because we are going to now use this countif function, countif formula with the XLOOKUP. So this is my formula here, and I said, as I said, I do not want all these cells. I only want the one that have text. I do not want 0. So let's modify this formula. So I'm going to go to the formula bar, and here I'm going to use the take function, and this is my array. And in this array, I'm asking it to only take the number of cells that have text. So ignore the ones that have 0. And now when I hit enter, it only gives me these 4 options, and see what happens when I change this to sports. It only gives me these 3, and I can delete this, and I can just take this formula and create a drop down using this instead. So let me select these cells, Alt A V V. It shows you this data validation dialog box. Here I can remove this and put the new formula, click OK, and I can remove this from here. And now you can see if I choose electronics, it shows me these options. Okay, it doesn't work. So let's put the formula here. So one mistake I made here is I did not make them absolute. So let's quickly make them absolute. So I'll just come here and press F4 for all these cell references. And I can now take this formula. So let's select these cells, Alt A V V. Let's remove this. Paste this formula, click OK, and now it should work. So now you can see I have these options for sports. If I've chosen electronic, it shows me the options for electronics. And if I change this and make it furniture, then it shows me only the options for furniture. So this is working fine. So as I said, if you want to get a drop down list, which is completely only the options that are there, then you can create this longer formula. Otherwise, you can just use the XLOOKUP formula where it will give you all the options in just one blank row. So this is how you can create a dependent drop down list using the XLOOKUP function. Now let me show you how to create a multi-level drop down list where I would have a drop down list, then a drop down list dependent on it, and then a drop down list dependent on it, and so on. Here I have another data set, and you can see this is a little more detailed. So I have the category, then within each category I have subcategories, then within each subcategory I have products, and then there is a price for each product. Now one thing to note about this data set is that this is sorted. So I have all the electronics options together, then I have all the furniture options together, and then within electronics all the subcategories are also sorted. So if you have a data set that is not sorted, it is a good idea to first sort it and then use the method that I'm going to show you here. Now what I'm going to do is create category dropdown, and then based on category, subcategories option should show up. So if I choose electronics, then the subcategory should be smartphones and laptops and tablets. Then based on subcategory, I need to show the product and then the price. So let's create this dropdown. So category dropdown is fairly easy. I would select these cells, then use the keyboard shortcut Alt A V V. And here I'm going to check list and then click on source and then just select this column. Now the thing with drop-down list data validation is that when you have duplicates in the column, it is going to ignore it. See what happens when I click OK. It is only going to show me these 3 options. So there are duplicates obviously, but it has ignored them. It has just chosen the unique values and shown it here. Now I have the category drop down. So this was easy. Now for subcategory, I need it to be dependent on the category option that I've chosen. So in this case, I've chosen furniture. Then it needs to be dependent on the furniture option here. So it needs to show me these options here. Now to do this, I'm going to use a formula, and let me first explain you the logic of the formula. What I'm going to do is somehow I need to identify. So if I've chosen furniture here, what is the starting and the ending position of furniture in this data set? So if I can know that the furniture starts at this position and ends at this position, then I can extract all the values which are to the right of it in the subcategory. So to do that, I'm going to use an XMATCH formula. And this XMATCH here is my lookup value. My lookup array is going to be this entire category column. Press F4 to lock it. Then my match mode is going to be exact, and I can just hit enter. So this gives me 11, which means that in this data set, starting from cell A2, furniture is at the 11th position. So this is what I wanted. Now the next thing I want is till what position does it go? And thankfully this can also be done using an XMATCH function. So I would have XMATCH. This is my lookup value. Then my lookup array is this. Press F4 to lock it. Then it is going to be an exact match. And For the fourth argument, I'm going to choose search last to first, which means that it will start from the bottom and start looking in at this list. And as soon as it encounters this option furniture, it is going to stop and give me the position for it. So this is -1, the last argument. And now when I hit enter, it gives me 21. So what this is telling me is that when I choose furniture, the values, the options, the name furniture in the category starts from 11 position and goes till 21. If I change this to electronics, then it tells me that it starts from position number 1 here and goes till 10. So let's make this furniture. Now what I need to do is somehow I need to extract the values from 11th to 21 in the subcategory column, and that can be done by using the take formula. So what I'm going to do is have the take formula, use this as the array, press F4 to lock this, and now I'm going to say I want to get the first 21 rows. Now I know that I need to start from 11th and go till 21, but to begin with I'm going to say give me 21 and ignore everything after row number 21. So when I select this and I hit enter, it gives me these values. Now I have some extra options in the beginning, but you'll see it ends at storage. So here it ends at storage here, which is this part. So it is going to give me the last value in the subcategory option. It has some additional options in the beginning and we are going to take care of it, but it gives me the last option and it ignores everything that is after it. So for example, if I make this electronics, then you can see it gives me values till tablets and it ignores everything after tablets. So the later part of the list is taken care of. Now let's see how to remove the things at the top that are not useful. So here I'm going to use the drop function. And I'm going to say drop the first 10 rows. So I want my value to start from row number 11. So I don't want the first 10 rows. So I want to drop them. So I would say this value -1. And now when I hit enter, it gives me only the options for furniture category, only the subcategory options for furniture. If I change this to electronics, it only gives me electronics. If I come here and I change it to sports, it only gives me values for sports. So this is now working fine, and I can now use this formula to create the subcategory dropdown. But before that, let me complete this formula. So let's copy this and change F10 to that formula and do the same thing here. So copy XMATCH formula here and put it here in G10. Now when I hit enter, I can remove these cells because I don't want them, and my formula is still working fine. Just check that you have all the references are absolute. And now I would copy this formula and I'm going to use this to create the subcategory dropdown. So I would select these cells, Alt AVV, go to list, and here I'm going to put this as source, click OK, and you can see this works. So I have, when I've chosen sports, it shows me the subcategory for sports, and now when I make it furniture, it shows me these options for furniture. And I can remove this formula, but wait a second, I just have one more use for this formula. What I also need to now do is create a drop down for product, which would be dependent on the subcategory options I've chosen. The good thing is that I don't need to create the formula again. I can just reuse this formula. So I would just drag this formula to the right. And now as of now, it gives me NA error, but I just need to adjust the references because I'm not referencing F2 here, I'm referencing G2. So I just need to shift the references a little to the right. So I'm going to shift this to the right here, shift this right, shift this to the right, hit enter, and you can see it works. So now I've chosen tables and it shows me the options for tables. If I change this to seating, it shows me the options for seating. So this is working fine. I can just use this formula and create the drop down for product. So Alt AVV list, just paste it here, click OK, and you're done. So now we have seating. For seating, it shows you these options. If you make this storage, it shows you these options for storage, and you can see it works for any other cell as well. So if I choose electronics here, then I choose smartphones, it shows me the options for smartphones. So this is working fine. Now we've created 2 levels of dependent drop down. Now there is price. Now again, if you want, you can extend this formula again, but we don't really need to do this because price is unique because I have unique list of products. So I can just use a simple XLOOKUP formula to fetch the price. So I can choose this as the lookup value, which is the product. The lookup array is going to be this, press F4 to lock this. The return array is going to be this here, press F4 to lock this. And now I can say if not found, give me a blank. And now when I hit enter, it gives me 349 and I can drag this down. So this is how I've easily created dependent drop-down list, but these are multi-level dependent drop-down list. You can see I have this drop-down, and this one, the subcategory is based on category, and then product is based on subcategory. You also saw the logic that I've used, and once you understand the logic, then creating the formula is actually pretty easy, and you can extend this to as many levels of drop-down list you want to create. So this is how you can create dependent drop-down list in Excel using simple Excel formulas. Also, I'm going to give you the file, this file, in the description, so you can click on the link in the description and download the file and use it. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Also, if you're liking these videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so that you never miss out on any new Excel tips video I come up with. Thank you and have a nice day.